Eve is an outcast, a chimera. After years of abuse and rejection, 19-year-old Evelyn Kingston is ready for a fresh start in a new city, where no one knows her name. The esteemed Billington University in sunny Southern California seems like the perfect place to reinvent herself, to live the life of an ordinary human. But things at Billington aren't as they seem. In a school filled with prodigies, socialites, and the leaders of tomorrow, Eve finds that the complex social hierarchy makes passing as a human much harder than she had anticipated. Even worse, Billington is harboring a secret of its own. Interlopers have infiltrated the university, and their sinister plans are targeted at chimeras, like Eve. Instantly, Eve's new life takes a drastic turn. In a time filled with chaos, is the world focusing on the wrong enemy? And when the situation at Billington shifts from hostile to dangerous, will Eve remain in the shadows, or rise up and fight? Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. Some of you might be wondering, didn't I already post a video yesterday? What's with this new one right now, right here? Well, this new one here is motivated by the fact that at the day of this video's release, it'll be my birthday. And I thought I would celebrate my birthday with a little bonus video. A bonus video where I review this book, Eve the Awakening by Jenna. Her debut, incidentally. Why is it that I decided to review this book on this day? Well, because in many ways this book is somewhat pivotal to my early days as a writer and then later as an author. Jenna is the first author tuber I've encountered, and in many ways served as my inspiration, because not only was she working a full-time job at the time I found her, but she was also writing her book, talking about writing her book, and I found her quite inspirational in that sense. And she had a lot of spunk, and there was really a sense of I can do it, here's how you can do it, kind of thing, which I have to say really resonated with me, and that it then went on to inspire me to want to write, or it actually reignited my interest in writing. And I'll forever be grateful to Jenna for showing me that there is a way for me to do that. So obviously, given she inspired me, I went ahead and bought her debut, the only book of hers that was out at the time. There were some parts where I was scratching my head as I was reading it, and then when I reached the end, I thought I could do better. So, Jenna, I know it is very unlikely that you will ever actually see this video, but if you do, thank you for inspiring me, for better or for worse. I have to confess, however, that for this review I haven't reread the book, ever since I first read it all those years ago, nor do I really have a script, so I'm very much going off the cuff and basing what I'm about to say on some reviews by other people that I've encountered. Reviews that are both positive, negative, and middling, because this book really runs the gamut on the impressions that it creates. That being said, what can I directly say about it? Well, the plot follows Evelyn Kingston, who is about to go away from home to attend university. As the synopsis mentions, she is a chimera. That means a person endowed with superhuman physical abilities as well as telekinesis. Most chimeras find out they are chimeras sometime in their teens or later, but Eve discovered that in her childhood, and as such, at 19, she has spent most of her life being persecuted by general society, because chimeras are persecuted in this society. And she decides that Billington is the place where she can finally pretend that she is not a chimera, that she is actually a regular person. That decision is made a little bit more complicated by two distinct factors. First of all, the social networking at place within Billington is quite complex and quite ridiculous, at least as far as she is concerned. And secondly, interlopers, extra-dimensional aliens, seem to be brewing up a plan that targets chimeras. That's basically the what's going on within this book. I could go a little bit deeper, but I have a strict as few spoilers as possible policy. And even though this book is a little bit harder to find, except if you're looking for used copies, even though this book is hard to find, I still want to stick to my policy here. So what makes this book stand out? First thing I'll mention is the characters and the social networking at play here, because that aspect does play a role within the story. A lot of people have commented that the characters are bland, one-note, one-dimensional, etc. And while I'm not exactly going to disagree, I don't think that necessarily makes them bad. I think they are just there to fulfill their role, fulfill a specific role. And if they fulfill that specific role, then that's fine. Really, it's fine. Perhaps more experienced or more dedicated author could come up with more expansive roles for them, but the story as it presents them well enough. They are distinctive. They're distinctive enough. They have their own traits. You will know who is who. So from that perspective, I think the characters could be improved, but they're fine, really. One thing I do appreciate about the ways they interact. First of all, the main cast, or the cast that ends up establishing itself around Eve, has a pretty outstanding synergy. So yeah, that's one thing I'll give Jenna. And another thing I want to actually praise her for is how eloquently she is able to portray the casual corruption and nepotism that is present within U.S. society, and how that is mirrored within the social hierarchies present at Billington, and in general present in various prestige positions, like politics, like universities, like high-level companies, because you have people who inherited a position. You got legacy hirees. You've got people who are showmen and are basically there just to be fancy, even though they don't actually get a lot of stuff done. And then there are the very few who actually get stuff done, and who the rest of this entire operation relies upon. So yeah, that is a very good, very simple X-ray that Jenna manages to put in front of her audience, perhaps without even realizing it. The writing overall, the tone she manages to strike is somewhat weird to describe, because I think it wants to be this suspenseful action story with a few comedic moments, but it doesn't really manage to do that all the time. I'm gonna say the comedic moments hit more often than the suspenseful moments. But overall there is a lot of idling at play here. Jenna wants you to believe that this is an action thriller where everyone can turn against everyone else at any given time. Sorry about that. But in truth, it really could have benefited from being more of a from being much more of an action story, where you focus on specific moments and specific backstories, rather than rather than trying to peel back the curtain and go, whoa, everything can harm you or anything like that. One more thing I want to highlight, this time for the better, are the action scenes, because holy shit, can Jenna Morrissey write some outstanding action scenes. Like, you absolutely feel everything that is going on within a scene as you read it. There is a lot of tension in the way that the narrative is presented, and in how the main characters face off against are confronted with a threat. What exactly makes that threat compelling, and how it is that they try to overcome that threat. It is written with a keen eye for attention that fully utilizes the environment and the capabilities of all parties presented. And I am pretty much constantly amazed and impressed by by these action scenes. Unfortunately, the interlopers themselves are subject to some quite serious case of villain decay, where the first time they show up, it takes like 4 people, two of which are chimeras, to actually take one down. Yet by the end of the book, 50 interlopers can be defeated by one chimera. Like, that's like I can understand if that the main characters have escalated in their powers to that degree where stomps like this are possible. But the book doesn't really do a great job at really presenting how it is that these characters have developed, and what exactly makes them capable of doing. What it is that we are supposed to do. Regardless, the writing overall, even though I find it quite implausible, is still entertaining, and it is still gripping. Overall, this book has about as many positives as it has negatives, and the best thing I can say about it is that it is easy to pick up, and it is quite adept at rewarding your engagement and your interest, even though it perhaps doesn't know exactly how to pick out the best rewards for a reader's attention. My final rating for Eve the Awakening is a 3 out of 5. And yeah, that was my review. Happy birthday to me, and thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will like it as well. If you have anything you'd like to add, the comment section waits your input. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My own debut, Heir to the Empire Next Generation, is available at most major book retailers under a master link in the description down below. Right past all of my social media links, which I would suggest you check out should you choose to. In my description you'll also find my Patreon, so if you're interested, go ahead and give that a watch as well. Until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.